get this party started. Yeah. So for those of you who didn't know, like I'm trying to juggle like 10,000 things. I know everybody else's lives are simple, but as fates would have it, when you get really busy, there has to be some kind of monkey jump on your back, or like something out of your control needs to pile on. Skip, on the other hand, decided to get a puppy.
Yeah. Yeah, I needed something else. In the middle of the night, I wasn't doing anything. I was just laying there asleep. So, I've got something now that will get me up and get me going every night around 4 a.m. or so.
Oh my gosh. What is wrong with you? So yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of other people having puppies, not me having puppies.
Yes.
It's like kittens. Kittens are great for other people to own, not for me.
Well, dogs are great. Puppies, so
I love dogs. Don't get me wrong. I love dogs.
Yes.
I love all dogs. You have a dog? I love it. Does it bite? I don't care. I still love it. That's just me though. I just think dogs are great. They have personality. They're fun to train. They're fun to hang out with. So anyways, I'm digressing a bit here. This has been a fun week though.
All right, you gotta start your virtual camera though.
Oh yeah, my whole computer's being kind of weird here. Yeah. My backgrounds aren't working. This is what we get for upgrading people.
Yeah, I know. So again, a bit of a tangent here, sorry. But we've talked about OBS many times within our community and different things. OBS released a pretty major update a few weeks ago. I finally got on board and got it. I'm seeing a lot of challenges with it. It's cool and all, but my Stream Deck won't stay working right. My GPU is trying to, I don't know,
over the world.
My GPU's, I don't know, it's smoking brisket down here. I'm not sure what's going on. So,
yeah, I mean, I haven't set up my Stream Deck yet. So, if I push buttons, nothing happens. I get an error. So, I need to redo this background. I love this background that I got here. I shot this while sitting at a beach. And then at the very end, you'll see my hand take it down. I forgot to clip it. So, all right, I'll go back to Grand Canyon. Anyways, what we have this week is a couple interesting things are going on. One, we had a major release this week, people. Major. I've been working up to this particular feature being in the software for well over a year. There was a bunch of steps that need to happen first before I can get this release. There is one more major release that all of this is building to, and I'm going to be insanely excited to show you all when it's done. But I'm guessing that one won't hit until December or January, given the prerequisites we have to build. So there are things that I want to make your guys' lives easier doing that I can't until I build a bunch of things first. So, can't chat. Dang it, Skip.
Hey.
The chat. Oh,
yeah. Want to be chatty.
You go live on Facebook too. Hold on. Let me get everything going here. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean,
this morning's just technical difficulty after technical difficulty. Do you know how to enable the chat there, Skip?
No, I do not. I think when you join, I lose that ability.
Okay, hold on, people.
Yeah.
Man, a whole bunch of things went wrong this morning. My page disappeared from me.
While Adam's doing that, let me go ahead and let everyone know I won't take his thunder on the updates. But we are, there we go. Paul's coming in. So we do have a lot of these going on. If you got questions or if anything pops up, please reach out to us. That little blue button down there in the bottom right, that is our support chat. In the back end, it creates a ticket for us, or at least something we can track. So several of us will get on that, and you can email us as well. email sometimes is a bit spotty. I mean, I came off one member call and jumped on this one, and I think I've got another one right afterwards. So email kind of gets done late in the day. But definitely reach out to us with anything that pops up. We'd love to get any feedback on that, or if something doesn't work the way it's supposed to, we'll get right on it. I found it's a small thing, but I found one with a member yesterday. We already got the dev team cranking out on that, so we'll get those tackled.
Man, that's crazy. The Zoom won't let me enable chat.
No, Paul was able to chat with us. Oh, but I can't chat with anyone else. All right. Yeah. Maybe Paul is controlling everything now.
Oh, maybe. So,
oh yeah. No, this is great. Everyone can talk to everyone else, but
they can't talk to us.
Yeah, you shut me out. So, all right. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. Maybe I ought to shut up sometimes.
Here, I'm going to go put this live on Facebook as well. That way you guys can chat there if you want. So there, that's my workaround, people. All right. So, anyways, this week has been one heck of a week with the new rollout, and with we're coming up on, this is the last week of Q3. That spooked me a bit. You know, I as I was writing the NAN, I was like, okay, no way. And I looked and I go, yeah, okay, yes, it is indeed the end of September, and October 1st is here. And this is what we call the holiday quarter. And this is where we're going to move into strategy. So this is where Skip and I make our bread and butter with our strategic moves. What should a Q4 look like? How do we combine Q4 QBRs and annual reviews and a list of do not do's? So we covered that last week. So this is kind of our bonus week. And that's why we're going to do two things here. Is one, we're going to talk about Q3 is wrapping up, which means that we are ending our risk quarter and we're walking into the strategy quarter. But we're going to blend them a little bit. So our webinar in October is going to focus on, Skip is trying to run for the hills, compliance. And the reason why we talk about compliance in October is because October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and you should have had your risk audits done in third quarter, so that in fourth quarter, you can then deliver risk strategy to your clients. So compliance is part of strategy, because sometimes you just got to do what Big Brother tells you.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of money to be made in Big Brother saying, hey, they need this and this and this and this. So what we need to do is we need to combine our strategy with our operations throughout the year. Most of you are really great about following operations. Going from January to October, January to September, you are basically gathering data on your clients. You're running your playbook and you're delivering what you promised in 2021. Now you are going to blend a little bit into the strategic quarter. You're going to continue to run your operations, but now you're going to focus on, here's what we know and here's where we're going. And so now that we have the risk audit done, we're going to talk about compliance in October, even though October, November, December are Q4, which we theme as strategy. Hopefully this makes a little sense to you guys, and we've made it a lot easier for you with this week's release. So what I want to focus on right now is, what is Q4 all about? So this Q4 coming up, you just came out of your risk and compliance quarter. Second quarter was service quarter. First quarter was architecture. So you know what your client has, you know what you want to do with them, and you know what risks we're facing now. Now we're in Q4, which means that we need to put it all together and paint a picture. And the biggest part of that picture is the budget.
Yep, here it comes.
And telling your client, where are they going to be and what are they doing? And then how much is it going to cost? Because if your client could do everything, they would, but they can't. Unless there's some kind of Luddite who just doesn't like to do anything, Skip, he doesn't like adopting the new digital technology. I tried to get him into the Rodecaster Pro for his audio, and no, he likes turning the knobs.
I like turning the knobs, yes.
There are some knobs on the Rodecaster, just so you know. he likes to fiddle around and do some different things. And so what I want to show you guys, and I'm going to share my screen here since I figure out how, is that we have taken all 3 quarters. If you've been following us along all 3 quarters, this release is going to make you insanely happy because it just did a bunch of work for you and shaved a good 8 hours of work per client off of your schedule for the year. All right. Everything working? Okay. Yes. And do my fancy little preview so that people with bad vision can see what's going on. Skip.
No, it's still a little blurry.
It's getting there. It's getting there. Da, 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 da. How are you now?
There we go. Awesome.
All right. So what we have here is our favorite view of the clients. So in Q4, we're going to focus on this. If you are on one of the new plans, you will see this new module pop up. Why do you need a new plan? Because that's where the permission groups got set. If you're not on a new plan like Elite, Enterprise, or Essentials, one of these ones, you probably won't see this in your account. This is a good way to find out, are you on one of the new plans or not? Don't worry, they don't cost that much more. And if you're on a VEP plan, they're actually cheaper. Yep. So what this is you're gonna look over here, and you guys all have seen the asset management that got rolled out a few weeks ago. I actually have a great demo inventory here. I need to update a little bit, but I'm kind of like, you know what? This kind of feels like a normal inventory where like this thing should have been replaced 4 years ago.
Yes.
So it's almost like, absolutely, do I really want to fix this? Because this is
it's hilarious. So
look.
Yes, I mean, I would love to see some inventory lists from you guys. What's actually in your environment? You know, it was hilarious. I was working with MSP for a few years and kind of took on this role. We did it internally as well as with our clients. And every quarter we talked about this HP G6 server that was in the data center that was already, I mean, this was years ago, and it was already,
those were the bomb, man.
I mean, it was
the thing to install.
11, 12 years old. And it was just the constant joke. And I haven't checked with those guys here in a while, but I hope maybe I'll see them at IT Nation, which if you guys are going to IT Nation, let us know. But if I see them, I'm going to ask them because I got a suspicion that G6 is still running.
Yeah. All right. So what we have here is like, if I click this and I click depreciation, I want to see when such something depreciate. I want to see all my assets that should have depreciated by the end of the year. So I hit enter, it's in there, and I look down and I say, oh my gosh, there are a ton of these. We need to get rid of these, or we need to figure out what's going to take to get done with these. So I can now select all of these and I can attach them to a project. So what's the project going to be? Usually you want your architecture audit, like your 2022 architecture audit. Hey, these are all the things that expired. We're going to go ahead and add these in as assets to this project. Proceed. Now they're all added in there. What is cool about this is now they're in a lump sum. And when you go to add that project to a proposal, you'll see that now they, I come in here to upgrade my favorite client. Oh, I already approved that one. New demo. This is yeah, so I can go down here and I can go to the HIT architecture audit and I can add that in. Okay. Oh, I need to fix it because I don't have my replacement costs on yet. So if I had my replacement cost there, it would have added them all up and I could see that, hey, this thing has 50 assets that we need to replace as part of our architecture audit for this year. And so it should title it, if this wasn't a demo account, this would be all the costs to replace. And you can say, what is the cost to replace a laptop? $2,500. And you spitball it. And this is part of your easy budgeting, easy proposals for a client. So anyways, that's your asset management. So I had to have this in place. I had to have this logic and this ability to bring in any asset from any device. For those of you ConnectWise users, you're going to see a sync button here in like the next week. I'm just waiting for them to finish it in dev, testing it. And then, but for right now, you can import your assets from any process using a CSV right now. It works great. I've tested it to the ends of the earth. It is solid. Anyways, once you have this all done, you can go over to your new budget section where you can now create a budget for Q4 if you want. It's going to look a little weird in this one because I've pushed everything to 2023. So let's go to 2023. There's Q1 2023. Let's just look at the year. So here's our expenses throughout 2023, and here's our budget for the year. Given these three asset types that I have here that are all scoring, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 asset types that are scoring here, we know that the client is spending on average $36,000 and $663 a quarter. That's what they should budget for 2023. And so we can go through there and say, is this okay with you guys? If it's not, let's change the parameters a bit. Let's make it so the laptops depreciate maybe another year out. Let's see how that affects things. Okay, so that's going to save you about $1,000 a quarter. Man, let me maximize this so that it gets above my head. It's going to save you about $1,000 a quarter. If you have any questions on this, put it in chat. Skip will answer them. And so when you're sitting in your Q4 sessions, you should be discussing this exact view right here and what your client can afford. Now, you're going to have some catch-up projects that say, hey, before the end of 2022, in order for this budget to be viable, we have to catch up on those PCs. If not, you'll need to go in and decide when can we replace those. And sometimes that can be a one-on-one situation, or it might be a group deploy. You have to negotiate that with your client. And that's why I showed you when we first started, your asset inventory, you'll export all of those into its own project so you can start 2023 fresh. And then they know that they're going to spend $32,000 a quarter, or let's go by month. Maybe they're a month-to-month kind of people. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do 2023 by month. Here's how much they're going to spend per device in 2023. It looks like in September, they're going to spend $24,000 on workstations. You might want to dive into why is that? And that's when you go back to your asset inventory and kind of look at it ahead of time. Maybe you need to create a specific project there. Maybe they did a lump. They created a lab at some point in the past, but you've got a spike there and you need to talk to them about it. This is a little bit more likely what happens is you bought a server farm, you bought a series of servers, and they're all going to come due in the same month. Spread it out a little bit. You can change these things around because now what you can do is once you've got this view here, I'm going to make it an export. So I'm going to do it really crazy. So 2023, I'm going to give my client a month-by-month playbook of their expenses based upon assets. So I hit confirm. The client is okay with this, and now it breaks it down. See how like every one of these, this is exactly like the way what I was showing you earlier. When asset inventory gets exported, it goes in it and it calculates up the replacement cost. How does it do that? You define that ahead of time. But you don't have to go out to Dell and find an exact price for everything. You're just giving a ballpark budget for your client to observe because these prices are going to change month by month. Depending on what deal Dell has, depending on what deal HP has, it's going to change. But now your client knows, you know what, about $5,000 is what I need in January. I can do that. $17,500 in February. Okay, we can do that. So this is the discussion you're having. And then as you hit this, you can say the 2023 asset budget.
Done. This is pretty good. I mean, you guys have been talking to us about this for a while. I've been thinking the same thing. You know, we've been putting asset values in there for a while, but those blue little boxes on our roadmap were always a value that had to be filled in by us. And, you know, people who can't math, like me, you know, we're really frustrated at that.
I can math, but I'm lazy. I don't want to sit down and figure this out in a spreadsheet every time.
All right. Well, I'm lazy and I can't math. So this is going to be really cool because it's going to add them up for you. It's going to do the 10 key activation for you.
So now in Q4, your goal is to sit down with your client and say, is this right? And then they go, whoa, $131,000. We can't afford that. We got a recession coming up. We got a bunch of things happening. Okay, so you come back and you have a discussion with them in your QBR. This is in the session you're discussing this stuff. So you go back to your budget and let's figure this out. So we go back to year. I'm going to go back to my 2023 by quarter. We're going to go by month. And yes, you can save your views, just so you know. You can save the views. It's called scenarios. So this is my 2023 scenario. I'm going to save this. And I'm going to say manage. Oh, crap. I didn't save it. I'm still new at this. So you're going to come in here and you're going to change it so that we're going to move it. So what was it? Workstations. are going to be depreciated out at 5 years. So we can kind of soften up this blow we're going to have. Oh man, that moved everything out. So they get one more year, and we just moved the budget down to 58,000. So can we push all the workstations out 1 year? Is the client good with that? Now that budget looks a lot better, and we can save the scenario. So I'm still new to this. That's load scenario. I want to save scenario. Do you remember what save scenario is?
No, I'm still getting up to speed on it as well.
Boo, bad demo. Oh, anyways, average. So I'm going to go back to this. So you have average of 4,888 is your budget for the year. And then you're going to go over here, and there's a save button here. Oh, there it is. Save right there. So save scenario as the 2023 with workstations modified. And we can create this as a default scenario if we want. So it comes up next time. Next time we load this, it's going to be there. All right. We should make this a little diskette. All right. I want the 3.5 inches yet, or should we go 5?
There. Now get a Bernoulli cassette.
Oh God. No one will know what that is. We have a little fast forward button on it. Oh my gosh, forgot about those.
Oh man, yeah, I'm always.
The Commodore used those, right?
No, that was we put those on our IBM PCXTs, man.
Okay. I'm thinking the ones that look like the actual cassette tapes.
Oh yeah. Now if you're talking about a 1501 cassette drive for your Commodore, yeah. But
okay.
Now I digress even further.
I miss those days. So anyways, you can see the usefulness of this. And as long as things are in green, that means it's observing your depreciation cycle. And if you're going higher, you see it get yellow. It's a little bit of a warning. If you're going lower, it gets blue. You're getting a little bit better. You can actually recoup some costs when you go into the blue, because now there's 1 year warranty left, 1 year depreciation left. So anyways, we have this now, and now the client can say, yes, I am good with 146,000. I'm good with spending $12,000 a month on average on asset replacement, knowing that in the next year, we're going to be spending $13,000 a month because we get a big lump up here in February. So your client now knows what to budget for. If they want to put together a 3-year budget, you've immediately got one for them. Immediately. Now, why is it like this? Because asset inventories suck. And so I don't have anything due in 2022 because I'm raring for 2023. I dumped it all off in the beginning. So you're seeing it rev up to, this is our expense, here's our budget, and here's where we're going. All of this is happening in seconds. I'm doing this on the fly with you guys on this call. No more 8-hour process to create a budget for your client and win them over. Now you can spend your entire meeting working with them to determine what their next steps are and why the budget looks like this. And you can discuss with them how to manage it. And once you've exported, as you guys saw me do earlier, exported this out to proposal, 2 things happen that are really cool. One is the proposal gets created that you can share with your client, and it looks like this. And all they have to do is sign off on it. They don't have to commit, but they can sign off on it. And what this is going to say is like, I approve this. I want you to go ahead and run forward with that project. So next year, when you come up to February, you can say, these are your initials. You approved this. You said this was good. And I just need to know, like, are you ready to move forward? The actual cost is going to be actually $14,754 because Dell's running a promotion this month.
Yeah.
And you can do your usual tap dance, but at least now you know you're not wasting your time.
Yes. And I want to reinforce that. We had a discussion last week about this, and how do you position these proposals? And, this isn't the, back to the olden days, I used to roll out and, do service work. And when I was through, I'd find my point of contact, and few of you guys might have done this. I don't know. Y'all are all, I don't know, a few of you. Anyway, I would show up with a clipboard and my, 3-part carbonless form where I filled out my ticket. It wasn't in ConnectWise. It was a piece of paper. And literally, at the very bottom, they signed, I had to tell them, press hard, bottom copy's yours. It was their commitment. all right, on the billing. This is not that. This is a planning tool. This is your opportunity to come back with your clients and say, Mr. Customer, this is what we've been talking about. Are we on the same page here? Did you hear what I think I told you? Or, all right, so that can be done really quick, but there are times when your clients are going to say, hey, yeah, that looks good, but I need to think about this. I need to check with, my partner, whatever it is. And we can share these proposals out with them so they come back a week later and go, hey, yeah, we talked all over all this. Let's go ahead and go. And what we've done is we've automated the process that would normally be, hey, let me think about it. I'll get back to you. Okay. That, how many times does that not, close the loop? And so with this, we've put it out there. We've got a trail. We can track it. You can use all your other digital, resources to help you do that. But now we've got an ability to close that loop with the client and say, yes, we're ready to move forward. Let's start some of the, the nitty gritty work on the quotes and getting this actually pulled for accurate numbers. So that's where the proposal fits. It's meant to, again, facilitate that client conversation, close the loop, not leave things open, and let's get commitment so we were following through on clear expectations.
Yeah. And so what happens here is now that you've got this soft proposal, as Skip is talking about, you've got a soft commitment for the year. Things are going to change throughout the year, but you have the soft commitment now. This is how budgets work in the corporate world, people. We promise to spend this amount of money knowing that it's going to go haywire through the year. And the more accurate we can be with our budget proposals as office managers, the more the CFO is going to trust our numbers for the next year. So it's all this big game of whereabouts are we? So we're doing a budget proposal. And then the clients can say, yes, that is the right ballpark you're in. And then from now on, you're quoting people know that come July, here's the amount that was soft approved. Let me put a quote together and try to stay within that market for this solution. And then when the quote comes across the desk of the manager, they look down and they look at their spreadsheet. They said, oh yeah, I committed $24,000 this month to assets. Oh, they came in at 22.5. It's a no-brainer. They approve it almost immediately. They already had the money budgeted. This is how it works. This is how you increase your profits, people. This is how I have done it with clients all across the board for the past 20 years. If you get the budget approval in fourth quarter, you will get the sale in third quarter next year, second quarter next year, first quarter next year. It's a no-brainer because all the office managers doing, looking down and saying, I budgeted 24. It came in at 22.5. I look good. The CFO is going to say, cool. Thanks for saving $1,500. So you can make people look like a hero. And so what happens, the second thing that happens after the proposal, and you get that nice little like, yay, I'm okay with this. This looks right about right, is that your roadmap's going to come up. And guess what automatically got created for you on your roadmap? All the projects you need to do next year. And so when you go over to 2023, we can now see,
just one? No, okay, there we go. All right, we'll start the counter.
That these are coming through as scheduled. And so we can say January, February, March, here are the three proposals. Oh, we don't have anything in May or April or May, but then we have something coming up in June, August, September, nothing in October. We have November and December. We now have our projects lined up for us. Our asset management, our network admin, our engineers now know that here is their projects for next year. I'm going to do what in January? Click. Oh, I only have to replace two workstations and 2 network switches. Awesome. I'm done. I'll make sure I get those put on the project schedule and everybody's happy. And it is only October, people. You already have a commitment for, what was it? What did we say, Skip there? $158,000.
Yeah.
$146,000 for 2023. You already have a commitment for, and everybody's happy. The manager you're talking to, the key stakeholder, he is happy because he has a budget. He knows the forecast for the entire year. You're happy because you know the income that's coming in. Your engineers are happy because they know what work they have to do. All this happened in a matter of minutes. Again, Adam is lazy. I like to make you guys look good, and I make it easy because some of you are running small shops and you don't have time. Some of you are running big shops and you don't have time to waste on a budget that won't be approved. This is the step most of you are missing, the budget proposal. A lot of you are trying to go straight to the quote. If you go straight to the quote, you're going to get rejected a lot and you're going to waste a ton of time. But if you start with a budget proposal that gets a soft approval, then next year, when you come and ask for $22,000 in August, it's a no-brainer. You might not even have to meet with the client. You just got to send over the new quote, or tell your quoting team, or if that's you, quoting team, go over to CDW or whoever you do business with, build up the list of things that you need to get. And then the client says, oh, cool, you came in under budget, approved. No justification of servers, no justification of workstations. You already did that the year before. Everybody's happy. This is how we work. Nothing irked me more as a senior manager in a company than to have a vendor come up to me in August and say, hey, by the way, you need to spend $22,000 on a server. Like, now I know it's a drop in the bucket for my budget, but I'd be like, why didn't you let me know? Or why wasn't this asset brought up to my attention last year? And I would look at my staff and go, okay, guys, who forgot to tell me about the server that came up last year? Because I don't have a budget for this. Now I have to steal from somebody. I have to go and say, hey, CFO, we totally forgot about the server that expires this year. I need to replace it. It's going to cost $22,000 or $500 to replace this server farm. And the CFO is going to like, why didn't you know? And well, we had some oversight. And then I've got to spend this time tap dancing. I got to go around and the CFO's got to figure out where we're going to get that money from. Whose budget is it going to come from? Because we're running a thin budget anyways. And I say, you know what? I'm just going to take it from the PC budget because I know these servers are important. So I drop it out of the workstation budget next month. And so all these workstations are going to get pushed to next year. That's how it's going to work. But if you told me ahead of time what my projects were, I don't care. I don't care if you asked for, in this one scenario, if at this time in 2022 you had asked for $30,000 and I saw that I had it and it got approved by my CFO, come next year when you give me a quote for $30,000, I'm be like, approved, done.
Yep, that's it.
And for little clients, they really like this because they can at least forecast and see that, like, these numbers are huge for little clients. $22,000 would crush them.
Yes, and that averaging, that average ability. And the ability to move some of these out and to take those spikes and spread them out is incredibly valuable. Now, me being the technical guy, and I know looking at these charts at times in the past, it's finance stuff, right? I'm really not zeroed in on this. So I'm always thinking, hey, it's going to cost what it's going to cost when it costs. And your clients don't think that way.
Mindset.
Your clients, they want to look at what's out there. And if you can break this down into monthly fees and flatten some of these spikes out, I guarantee you're going to get less pushback, less friction in getting these deals closed. We've seen it happen over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, as somebody who approves large budgets, who's worked with budgets of every size, a budget in fourth quarter of a year will win every time. And it all comes down to what we talked about last month. The first person with their hand out with their budget prepared is the first person to get paid. This is what's going to increase your revenue on projects through the roof. Because you're not thinking operationally anymore. It's no longer, it costs what it costs. It is now, we predicted the cost. We see it under the cost. Here you go. You approve? Yes. And for smaller companies, I mean, the numbers has changed. They just shift downwards. The trends are still the same. And when you go out here and you go to a smaller client, just move the decimal point over. It's going to be $3,600 on average a month. Or it's going to be less. It's going to be $360 a month. But they'll at least know where their expenses are. And if they need to change the depreciation, they can. They can go ahead and manage the scenario so that, see, like, hey, if I move to the right, it's going to lower my average spend, but it's going to increase my risk. And that's on you as an account manager to explain. Why can't I let my laptop go 10 years? You can, but do you really want to be on the road when that laptop fails? And that's on you to do the narrative. But you can do the narrative now, because now you're not sitting down and explaining and over explaining why laptops are important. So that's what I want to impress on you. And some of you are asking the $1 million question, where am I getting this data from? It's called client asset types. And it's where you can define whatever asset type. You've got a blue mushroom in your assets, you can create a type for that. It's completely customizable. You can actually customize it per client. You can go into a client and change the numbers so that the client knows, like, hey, with Joe's Trucks, they like hardened laptops with the tough books. It's $5,000 for a replacement. We want to make sure we replace them every 5 years because they're a little bit more rugged. They're more out on the road. So their cycle is going to be an additional 2 years.
Oh, there we go.
What?
Nope. Either your connection or mine's cutting out. Starting to get staticky. You got more guys working on the building?
Probably. Yeah. So you guys have been following my saga. My internet connection got cut yesterday. Literally. They broke my fiber without my permission because they want to put it in the camera. Anyways, I'll rant about that later. So what we have here is we have our default replacement costs. These are just ballparks. Any engineer worth their salt can rattle these off the top of their head. How much does it cost for a server replacement? Well, the standard G6 server is blah, 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 blah with a standard array. Our standard build is $7,500, $12,500. They can rattle it off the top of their head. You should be able to fill out this line here in about a minute. And now whenever you import assets, it'll immediately say, here's the replacement cost. And some smart person comes in and says, I got more accurate numbers for this. Feel free to edit it. It edits across all clients unless you do it on the subclient. And now you have a beautiful way to instantly determine how your assets are going to work, what your client's budget is going to be, and what is the roadmap for operations for the next year. Easy, in a matter of clicks. Why do we have this? Because I think it was Bob Moore was one of the original thinkers on this. Adam Walter, I have a number of Excel spreadsheets that I've been using for years. I used to give them out to the VEP members. And this is the result of that original budget spreadsheet we had. If anybody has a copy of that from about 2019 or so, 2018, this is that budget spreadsheet from Excel now put into the software. The only thing it's missing is, and a lot of you are going, where is it at? Services are not in there yet. Right now, it's all variable expenditures, not fixed expenditures. So fixed expenditures will be put in there eventually. There's a lot more work that goes into that because you guys are all a bunch of snowflakes that like to charge differently and like to do different ways. And so we have to build in logic to allow that because I want it to be easy. I don't want this to be a 300-step process. I want this to be something where you open it up, drink a cup of coffee and go, I'm done. Now I got to figure out how I'm going to sell this to the client. That's the way it should be. Skip, anything to add?
No, I think that, this is really going to empower those conversations. I'm one of these people who I heard an interesting term this week as a feral learner. When it comes to accounting, I really kind of came up through it rather than being taught properly.
School of hard knocks. Of hard knocks.
Yeah. So I have been hesitant to get into some of the budgeting conversations. Depreciation, was one of those words I was scared to use because I might not understand it entirely. This is going to make an easy path for you to get in front of your finance decision makers and get the information on the screen that they're interested in looking at and really allow you the tools to kind of work with them and be collaborative. Again, I can't oversell this enough. The real value is not so much how much the dollars are, but it's how that spend rate is going to work out.
Yep.
And you'll have to get to the dollars. There will be times when, yes, we've got to drill into those, but that will be much less of an issue if we can really get with our clients and collaborate with them. How does this match your budget? They're looking at it. They're seeing, they have fluctuations in their business, and they know when they're a little more flush with cash and when, they're kind of running some deficits. And if you can work with them to time your projects when they're flush with cash, well, obviously that's a whole lot better time than if you're trying to get something signed off on them and they're running a deficit during that quarter. So take this to your clients, work with them on it, and you'll see a lot of success from this.
So my tips to wrap this up for those of you watching, is, even if you don't have the budget tools makes things easy. But right now, coming up with a budget for your client in 2023 is what you have to be doing in Q4. That needs to be a core part of your Q4 roundup and your 2023 strategic roadmap. So you're going to come into your client over the next 3 months, and you're going to meet with them to talk about how do things go this year. And then you're going to line up with them what is required of 2023 to make it good. Maybe ask them some of the questions, like, are they feeling the risks? Are they feeling the issues with the recession that could be coming up around the corner? If so, hey, let's work with you. Let's slide that bar over to the right a little bit on the PC purchases, because, okay, we all know PC purchases are going to suck next year. It's going to be a while before silicone starts really pushing again. So let's go ahead and use that to make a win with our clients. Sell them some additional services like, hey, we're going to slide the workstation over to 1 more year. Just for now, we're going to make it temporary. It's going to cut your budget down by 20% next year. So in order to mitigate that, what I want to do is I want to increase your service desk delivery so that instead of it being a next day best efforts, we're going to do a 4-hour on-site tech. And that's going to mitigate the issue with having older laptops. And then once we get the laptops under this, we can move you back to a next day business. That is what you do. And so you didn't really lose out on any money, because the margins for service delivery are way higher than they are for selling hardware.
Yeah.
And you can make that up easily. This is how budgeting works. This is how you make a ton of money. It's how you take a client from $1,500 to $9,000 a month. You just got to tell them what it's going to cost and get it into the budget that they're expecting. You're done. So coming out of Q4, coming into Q4, get those meetings scheduled. Maybe it needs to be an 1.5-hour meeting where you talk about the previous 8 months, 9 months, and you talk about the next 12 months. And what does that look like? And how you can help your client. Be curious, be understanding, and be empathetic, because everybody's kind of in a weird spot right now. But at least things are kind of getting back to normal. With that, that's all I have for this week. This has been an exciting week. If you have any questions on the budget dashboard and the asset management, reach out. Skip and I are super excited to talk about it. If you don't see it in your portal, check with us, see if we're on the right plan, and we'll get you moved over there.
Yeah.
All right. Everyone have a great week, and we'll see you on the flip side.
See you.